Yeah, you got it. Why didn't the skeleton ask the mummy to the Halloween ball? Well, it has to be because the skeleton just didn't have the guts. All right. Let me look. I think there's been a question that went by already, maybe. Let me take a look there. Okay, so we're going to go over a little bit of our housekeeping stuff in a second. But before we do, let's just take a quick look. There seems to be some confusion about how to use SUMIDI in the SUMIDI queue. So let's go in and let's just take a look at how to use that. So we'll come into here. We can come into SUMIDI and log in. I'm already logged in. Come into the CS1, Computer Science. If you want to go to office hours, right? If you want to go to office hours for Professor Uzma or I, well, let's talk about the regular office hours. If you want to go to the regular office hours, you come in here, you go to the office hour queue, and turns out that I'm not a student, so I have an issue here. Let me try again with there we go. Okay. I have to go in with my student account. Come into CS1. And you'll see we have an office hour queue. It'll look something like this. If you want to get help during office hours, come in here, pick the queue name. In general, this is going to be office. We don't actually have office hours running right now, but there'll be a queue that says office hours. ALAC is another queue that's for the tutoring group on campus. You're welcome to use them as well. They run a queue. Their times are also posted. If you go to the if you go to the Learning Center, they also have hours for CS1. You can use them as well during their hours. For us, it'll say office hours, OFFIC underscore, I'm sorry, OFFICE space hours. It will allow you to join. Right, you select the queue. I'll select ALAC, and then you'll have to put in the office hours name. ALAC has their own queue, their own password. For our office hour queue, the queue access code is office hours. You can find that in the discussion forum. Okay, so if we search for you can come to the FAQ for the FAQ, which is thread 12. Come down here. This tells you how to get into office hours. It tells you what you should need to know. Right, so this tells you how to get there. One thing that I forgot to cover is what'll happen is you'll come in, you'll enter the queue. The ALAC queue has ALAC as the password. Our queue has Our queue is office hours. It has office hours in the password. Down here, this is your contact information. This is your WebEx room. You're going to enter the office hours. You'll be put into a queue. A mentor or a TA will take a few minutes. They will eventually get to you, and they will join your WebEx. So if you want help, you need to start up your WebEx, enter the queue, put in the queue access code, office hours for our office hours, ALAC for ALAC, and then put in your contact information in terms of your WebEx room here. You will need to then wait for them to actually come and visit you. They will visit you. They'll get to you as quickly as they can, but sometimes office hours are fairly robust. Just so you know, if you go to the course home, right, our webpage, and you come into weekly office hours and I lost my everything. There you go. If you come into our main page, right, you can get to this right from Submittee. Right. This, by the way, is where you put your WebEx room. Why does this keep doing that to me? Stay on everything. Okay. Right. This is where you put in your WebEx room. Okay, right there. This is the queue name. This is the queue access code. If you come into here, you can go to Submittee, or on Submittee, you can come to our front page. I'm going to put this one away because it's interfering with the rest of my life. You can come into our front page. We have our office hours and tutoring schedule right here. These are when we're running TA or mentor-led office hours, all the green stuff. My office hours are red. Professor Mushtaq's are purple. One exception to the office hour queue is that if you're visiting Professor Mushtaq and I, you should come in and come directly to our WebEx rooms. We will lock the room if we need to, and you may end up in the lobby waiting for us to get to you. But since there's only one of us ever at our office hours, we're not using the office hour queue. We don't have to distribute the work. All right, so that's kind of your latest installation of how to actually get help during office hours. Let's go back to our regularly scheduled program. We are in the process. I guess there's a lot of chatter about tests. I was expecting that. We are currently grading them. I will say we are about 20% done, which is actually lower than I had hoped at this point. But it doesn't matter too much because we have makeup tests that need to go out for people with excused absences. And remember, these are people that have excused absences who have actually gone to the student experience and gotten themselves, I was sick, or I had a death in the family, or something else happened. So it's not just I didn't make it or I didn't feel like going. They have a valid excuse. They will be taking the test probably on Wednesday, but it may not be until Thursday. Outside chance it'll be Friday. We will not release any grades until that point. We want everybody to have had the exam before we release any grades. So we are grading. We're in the process of grading. Don't expect grades before Friday. In the meantime, you have something much more important for you to work on. You need to get your homework 3 done. It's due at Thursday at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. You also have lab this week. We are finding out that you guys are being very sloppy in your labs, which makes it hard for the TAs. A couple things I want to point out. You are required to attend labs. You're required to attend at your lab time, and you're required to participate in your small groups. Those are study groups for you. You're expected to be present there. If your TA or your mentor drops in and you're not there and you remain not there for an extended period, right? I understand bio breaks. I understand grabbing a cup of coffee. I grab cups of coffee all day long. But you do need to be there, and you do need to, if you're going to be gone for a few minutes, put a note in the chat. That way, at least the rest of the people in the room know where you are and what you're doing, and your TA or mentor should give you a little bit of a break. But plan to come back, plan to be responsive, and plan to actually actively participate. It's required. And also be sure to follow all the instructions. So one of the things that we find out is that people aren't generating their lab report correctly. They're giving half the information. Maybe they're putting their code in as opposed to their code plus screenshots. You need to follow the directions. The TAs are looking for specific things, and if they can't find them, that puts them in a bind trying to figure out how best to grade you. And generally, if they can't figure out how to grade you, they take points off. So please don't do that to them. Let them have a good opportunity to give you the highest grade that you deserve. All right. Any more questions? Again, I'm hoping that the grades will be out by Friday, or on Friday. I don't really know. It's going to depend a little bit on when we get our makeup exams done. Our hope is that at least we will have our grading done by, the actual grading done by Thursday or Wednesday, so that as soon as we get the makeup finished, we can release the rest of the grades almost simultaneously. We don't have to have the makeup graded before we release the rest of the grades. We do have to have it taken. All right. Any other questions before we get on with today?
And for the office hours, is the schedule at the bottom correct as well for like TA office hours, like 9 to 11 on weekdays?
Yeah, that's been that way for.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So that's exactly what you want to be looking at.
Two
Right.
questions.
Sure.
One, are you recording this?
I am recording this. Thank you.
And two, there is a curve for this exam, right?
Probably. I don't like to say definitely there is. We look at the grades. We look at where they fall. If the grades are higher than a threshold, then we don't apply a grade. We won't apply a curve. I'm not going to curve down. So if the grades are high, they stay high. If the grades are low, however, we will apply a curve. So it can only help you, not hurt you. And I have no idea where the grades are falling yet because we're only about 20% done. Or 30, maybe 30. 20, it looks like about 20, 25. All right? A curve is certainly possible. All right. Anything else before we get moving? Okay. So hopefully you guys all survived your first test. Well, I guess anybody who's here survived their first tests. That's good. I guess.
Survived is a strong term.
Yeah, well, you're still here walking, right? The gazelle out on the pampas there, or the savannah, is happy to be in your position right now. They're still alive, and the lion didn't quite grab them. So, but yeah, it's. I know that it's harder taking these tests online. It's certainly harder for us. It's harder to get everything set up. And it's hard to kind of judge how much time things take. But hopefully everybody did well, and we will know better in a few days.